I love coming to this class. This is a lot of fun. I actually get to teach with you guys a marketing class, and the ironic thing is I've never taken a marketing class, which is kind of an interesting thing, but I have a lot of experience, so my goal is to help you get something out of this that you're looking for. Now, how many of you are looking to be a chiropractor? Raise your hand real high. That's what I thought. So the question you might be asking, well, what's a chiropractor going to do to help me with marketing? Well, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my experience, and I'm also going to talk about principles. And you see, principles are evergreen. And so what I want to do is I want to give you principles that you can apply through whatever it is that you want to do in terms of your marketing or your business career. Anybody here want to be an entrepreneur? All right, very cool. So hopefully there'll be some things that will be applied to you as well. And like she said, I want this to be an interactive thing, so this is a course for you. First slide is this. Why am I showing you a tennis game? Aside from I like tennis, the thing is whenever you're watching a sporting event, there are two groups of people. There are those that are on the field playing the game, and then those that are on the sideline watching, right? And so that's like life, isn't it? Right? And so what I invite you to do today when you're with me for this next hour is to come on the field, to play the game with me, because you will get a lot more out of today's information if you interact with me. So I'm going to encourage you guys to ask some questions and really create the dialogue that we're going to have. Does that sound good? Can I get an agreement on that? Yes? Yes. All right, very cool. So movement is life and communication is key. You know, if you look at a living cell under a microscope and it's not moving, what's that cell? It's dead, right? So movement is life. So we want to get some energy to this conversation, and communication is key. And the most important person you can communicate with is who? Yourself, right? And so we're going to really have some good times with that today as well. So let me ask you a question. Why would delivering incredible service in a healthcare setting be great marketing? Why would that be great marketing in and of itself to have incredible service?
Because of word of mouth.
Word of mouth. So word of mouth marketing, or your referrals are your best patients, right? Or your best clients in any industry, right? Why else would great service be great marketing? Why else? What would be the benefit? Yep.
It would come back.
It will come back in what ways?
Well, if you're a chiropractor, it would come back to you over and over again.
That's right. And in any industry, right? If it be a restaurant or whatever it was, right? So you can get the repeat business. So you can get referrals, you get repeat business. What else? Yes, sir.
It's a good way to promote your brand.
Yeah, I mean, providing service is a great thing, right? And if you're going to serve somebody, you're going to serve a client, might as well serve them in the best possible capacity, right? So that's the first question. Today I'm going to share with you 8 tips on how to create an incredible healthcare service experience. Who wants to be in some level of healthcare marketing or anything? Very cool. Do you have a specific aspect of that?
Well, yeah, my major is health service administration and my minor is marketing. So really I'm trying to pursue like medical sales.
Great.
But, you know, I definitely want to take the track of like medical devices rather than pharmaceutical sales. So.
Okay, super. So marketing and health sciences, that's a great thing, and then having a vehicle ready through the instruments, that's awesome. So I'm going to give you some 8 tips here. So who am I and why should you listen to me, right? Why am I up here? So a little bit about myself. I was born in Miami. Anybody from Miami here? All right, what part? West Kendall? Kendall here as well. I went to Sunset High.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you?
Ferguson.
Ferguson? Okay, that's newer from when I was there. You're from Miami as well?
Kind of, Boca.
Boca, very good. The rat's mouth, right? Right? So it's such a beautiful place and a weird interpretation of the name, right? And so I'm born in Miami. I'm 43 years old. I've been practicing DC, which means Doctor of Chiropractic, since 1999. I've served over 15,000 patients. So in my practice, we average a new patient every hour since we've opened up our practice, which is pretty cool. I'm very proud of that. And I've delivered over 250,000 adjustments. So I've seen a lot of patients in my practice. I just actually ran from the office today. We started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we saw our morning patients and came here just in time to see you guys today. And then I've had the privilege of mentoring over 15 doctors. So my passion is really teaching, and my passion is really helping, because as a chiropractor, I can only lay my hands on one person at a time, but if I have 15 doctors in the community or in the world practicing, I'm laying my hands on a lot more people. I've been married for 11 years, just celebrated my anniversary. This is my wife, Dawn. She's a nurse. And this is my baby girl, Journey Joy, and Asher Jaden. And I've had the privilege of having a goal, which I set when I was in school, to be a millionaire since I was 30 years old. So that was the goal that I created for myself, and at the same time, I eliminated all of my chiropractic loan debt. So the average chiropractor now is graduating with $275,000 of student loan debt. That might make your debt seem a little bit easier, right? Okay. And I also had student loan debt. And I eliminated all that all through chiropractic. So I started off with nothing. I started off with $0, and I made all of my income by having a healthcare service, by having chiropractic. And I invest heavily in growth, both personally and professionally. Now, I tell this to you not to impress you. I tell it to you to impress upon you that the principles that I'm going to teach you are the very principles that I applied in my own life to be able to produce the results that I got. And these are principles you can apply in anything. Sounds good? Okay, so a little bit about me. This was how I felt when I was younger. I kind of felt like I was on the sideline of life. Who's an athlete? Who was an athlete in high school? I was not, okay? I was on the sidelines. I was this skinny little boy, and I had this cross-eyed. So I would be looking at you, and my eye would be over there at this gentleman here. And you can imagine being very thin in Miami, and I just felt like I was on the sidelines, right? And all I wanted was my parents to fix my eye. I thought once my eye will be fixed, life will be different, right? And so I went ahead and I asked my parents, get this surgery, do this surgery. I had the surgery at age 8, and it corrected my eye. But what happened is it wasn't until a year later that I found out what the surgery actually does. So when you have a lazy eye, what happens is you have muscles on both sides of the eye. One muscle is functioning normal, one muscle is functioning weak. And what they do is they actually cut the normal muscle to make it as weak as the weak muscle, then it balances. So imagine this. Imagine, anybody here a parent? No? Okay, so imagine being a parent and then them saying to you, we're going to make your son as weak as his weakest link. Who thinks that's a little ridiculous, right? Yeah, but my parents wanted the outcome and they didn't know what the procedure was. The problem is if you weaken one area of your health or of your life, what do you think it causes to other areas of your life too? It can also weaken them too. So the nerves that control your eyes also have an impact in your spine. So my spine started to torque. So I started to develop a significant scoliosis. So now at 9 years old, I'm confronted with another situation. Now I have to go to an orthopedic doctor and look at the possibility of having surgery in my back. They wanted to put a rod in my back. This is what it looks like. I'll move that picture because it's kind of graphic. And when I'm talking to the medicine school, they really like the picture, right? I talk to business, they don't necessarily like it. But what happens is, I wouldn't want that in my back. How many of you agree that if you can get rid of that and not have that in your back, that's a good idea, right? Yeah, so I'm there, though, I'm 9 years old and I'm scared. And I was like, well, what else could be done? So my dad had back issues, and thank God he had back issues. He went to a chiropractor, and he told him about me. And he said, can you do anything for my son? And he said, he looked at me, he looked at my x-rays and said, here's the deal. You can have the surgery, and your spine will be very straight very quickly. But the problem is when you actually put those braces in, what happens to the muscles? Do they get stronger or weaker? Weaker. Anybody ever break an arm or a leg and you cast it, right? The muscles are atrophied. So what happened, he said it'd be very fast, but it'd be weak. And that sounded a lot like my what? Like my eyes. I'm like, here I go again. And so I was at a point of decision. At 9 years old, I said, do I do the path where I just go for the quick fix, or do I work on correcting the cause? And so obviously I chose correcting the cause, and I did the work. I did chiropractic, I did physical therapy, I combined those two together, and through that I was able to avoid having to have that surgery, which was awesome. And through that experience, it changed my life. So literally at that point in my life, I decided that I wanted to become a chiropractor. And so I will tell you, it's not a success principle that I put in there, but it's easier to get to where you want to be when you know where you want to go. Does that make sense? So I had clarity of purpose. I mean, I went ahead and I said, hey, this is the path that I want to go. So I dedicated my life to this. But my chiropractor explained a couple principles. He explained that the nervous system controls everything. So for you to heal, for you to thrive, for you to flourish, your brain has to send messages down the spine, which goes through those nerves and affects every single muscle, tissue, and organ in your body. And your spine then has two purposes. Your spine will, number one, it will protect the nerves, and it will also help support your posture. And your posture is the window to your spine. So when I had that shifting, it was causing pressure to my nerves. And so this is the poster that changed my life. this poster shows you that the nerves not only go to muscles in your back, but the nerves also go to every single internal organ. So it's interesting, the things that I hear every day. I had a patient this morning, I'll tell you my consultation. The gentleman had leg pain, it's called sciatica. Ever heard of it? Really frustrating because you feel pain in your leg, but the leg is not the painful problem. It's actually, the source of the problem is your back. Well, in addition to that, he was shifted with his weight, and then in his mid-back he had a kink. And his mid-back, those nerves affect the stomach. And his chief complaint outside of his back pain was reflux. And one of the most common things that I treat patients with outside of musculoskeletal issues is actually reflux. Well, then he was so impacted that he referred his wife in, and his wife develops chronic bladder issues. So she gets issues there, and she had a lot of torque in her lower back. So it's incredible that what happens is if you get to the root cause of the issue, you can actually impact so many ways of the body. And the reason why, what does this mean to you guys, is that if you can get to the root cause of the issue in terms of whatever issue it is in marketing or business or the structure of the thing that you're working on, if you get to the root of it, it's going to have a vast reaching effect on a lot of areas. Does that make sense? And so here's the thing. I tell this to every patient. You have two choices. How many? Two. You can chase the symptoms. You can chase the things that poke to the surface, or you can get to the underlying cause. The question is the thing that you're working on right now, whatever business thing or thing you're trying to solve, are you chasing the symptom or are you correcting the cause? Right? That's a good question to ask yourself always. And so the first tip I want to give you is to make business adjustments. Make business adjustments. Everybody know when you go to a chiropractor, it's called an adjustment, right? So I coined the phrase business adjustment, and what you want to be doing is making business adjustments to your business requires a constant commitment to growth. So we're going to talk about values in just a bit, and one of the core values that I really hold true to myself, or human needs, is growth. How many of you growth is important to you, right? It's a big one for me. And so making business adjustments requires constant commitment to growth. And so what I did just last year, I've been practicing for about 17 years, and like I said, I've been working with patients one at a time, and I get a chance to speak, and I just ask God, how do you want to use my talents? How do you want to use the gifts that we're all given? We all have gifts, right? How do you want to use these gifts? So I made a decision to actually pursue a career in professional coaching. So now I'm actually an executive coach, so I actually coach business leaders, business owners, CEOs of service businesses. So I coach financial advisors, I coach attorneys, I coach other physicians on how to make business adjustments to help them really achieve what it is that they want to do. And so I'm actually working on my first book right now, which you guys are the first ones to hear about it actually. It's called Your Business Adjustment. How about that, huh? From a chiropractor. And so the main principle is just like the body is naturally designed to grow and flourish, your business will tend towards growth and success provided you remove the interference. Does that make sense? And so this is why I enjoy chiropractic so much, is that chiropractic honors the body. Chiropractic honors the body's ability to heal and recognizes that you have within you an intelligence and a wisdom to actually really fully express yourself. And I believe the same thing occurs in business. I think that if a business is functioning properly, that it is designed to grow and flourish, that it will naturally have the result of growth and success. You guys agree? Right? Mm-hmm. So the key is removing the interference and making adjustments to that to make that body work. So the story of the book is going to be a struggling business owner who meets the possibility doctor, which is me, and I teach people possibilities of helping them fully express their businesses. And that's the whole purpose and concept there. So pretty cool, right? Yeah? Okay, so the first business adjustment I have is discover your purpose, to know your why. Anybody here watch TED Talks? Yeah? Have you watched the one Simon Sinek, which is like about your why, right? Pretty cool stuff. So how many of you think it's important to know exactly why you're doing what you're doing? Right? Very few businesses have clarity in that. So I spent a lot of time working on my business to know my why, and we developed a mission statement. Every word has intention in our practice. So it is to love, serve, and inspire our community to help your family achieve your best life ever. So the whole purpose of what we do is how we do it is with love, service, and inspiration. Who we serve is the level of family. So in my practice, we serve mostly families is what we serve, but we do that by reaching and serving a community. So our mindset and our net is very big. It's not just, can a business get stuck within their four walls, right? That's the most common pitfall. Like a restaurant owner just never leaves his restaurant, works forever in there, never leaves there. We serve at the level of community, so the intention's very high, and it's to help your family achieve your best life ever. So it's not just about cracking somebody's back, right? There's a much higher purpose in what it is that we do. So I think the degree of your purpose, the degree of your why, will determine the level of your success and the level of impact. So the bigger your vision is, the bigger your impact is going to be. And it's run true for me. This is our logo, this is our brand. I'm not going to go in this in too much detail, but I will tell you that everything in this logo has a meaning and purpose. The 5 dots are our core values. So we have 5 core values, and they each build on the next one, which gets bigger. That's the concept of synergy. This is our principles. We're grounded in the dirt with our principles. The green is the level who we serve, and the family is that we're family-centric. So it's a very cool design to our impact. And so when I work with my team every day, we spend a lot of focus on this to constantly remind us of what's going on. Plus, this is a little family picture. That's me, my wife, and that was my son. I don't want to change the logo now that I have a daughter, but at least you get the epigram of a child there, right? And so that's the first principle. And our culture is to create a family atmosphere and a professional experience. So we want to be very family style. So people there, our patients are called practice members, and we want to have it as a professional experience. So it's very laid back, but it's still very professional. Any questions or comments or anything that's coming to mind at this point? Good? Okay, cool. So business adjustment number 3, get your head right around your work. So here's an equation, 5/7. So what does this mean? Well, 5/7 is this. It's a formula. So there's 7 days a week, and typically you work 5 days a week, right? And so if you're working 5 days a week and you don't like what you do for a living, then basically 5/7 of your life stinks. Think about that, right? If you don't enjoy going to work, like if you wake up and Monday is not fun for you, if you're dreading Monday, then 5/7 of your world stinks, or I say sucks. And I think that my belief system is not have a life that is that way. What do you guys think, right? And so here's the thing. If you have to do a job, it's work. Who wants to go to work every day? Certainly not me, right? I want to be able to do something that I'm passionate about. So you want to look at language, because does language matter, right? Does the words spoken matter? So if you say I have to do something, that is a fear-based thing. You have to do it. There's a consequence to it. So if you have to do it, it's a job. And the difference is if you want to, if you love what you do, if you want to do it, then that becomes a passion. That becomes a passion. And then going to work is never feeling like going to work. Like when you're doing what you love, you never count your hours. Like I don't clock in, I don't clock out. I go ahead and I just do the work that I need to do, and I love what it is that I get to do, and every day it just blends in there. I just have 2 worlds that I like. I say my 2 favorite days are Mondays and Fridays. People are like, Mondays, right? I love entering to my professional world, and I love transitioning into my personal world. They both make it fun. Who thinks that would be a good way to live? Yes? Right? And so that's what you want to do. But I'll tell you, Mercedes-Benz, this is an interesting thing. The best or nothing. I will tell you that I've had really good success. I've made millions of dollars in my practice, and I've also lost $1 million. Not through my practice, through something outside of it. And so something I will tell you is the concept of staying in your lane and doing what you do best. So I had a practice, and a lot of times when you're looking at a business, you can say, well, hey, I want to add all these things, right? If I'm good at this, let's add this. More, bigger, better, faster, more, right? And so we went ahead and we added concepts. We added medical to our office. I had a medical doctor. We had a weight loss clinic. We were doing all these other things and other services, bioidentical hormones, food intolerance testing, so all these really cool services. The problem is I didn't really, when I look back at it, we couldn't be the best at all those things. And so what I will tell you is that mistake costed me handsomely. probably about $250,000 in that mistake by doing things that I wasn't the best at. So as much as I've done very good things, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of gifts in the lessons that you learn. In fact, we also learn probably more from the mistakes that we make than probably the successes. Would you guys agree? Right? And so the best or nothing. So what you want to be thinking about is, what can I be the best at to really make an impact? And how is that aligned with my purpose? Sounds good? Awesome. Got a quiet bunch here. So this is my son. Figured I'd just throw in there. It's my son Asher. Asher means he who is happy or blessed. So that's why we named him that, which is a lot of fun. He's 7 years old. And a child will chew. Anybody here, parent? Said nobody here, huh? First group. Good. Me and Dr. Wang. Oh, and you, sir. Very good. And so they will change your life, won't they? Change your perspective. Okay, you should have seen his expression on his face. Priceless, okay? But beautiful thing, in a good way for me. So the next thing is, next business adjustment number 4 is create systems that attract new patients. So it's not about attracting new patients, it's about creating systems that attract new patients. Does that make sense? You want to have systems in place. So you want to be thinking about, in whatever field that I'm doing, what systems do I have in place to attract the new clients? Again, you can take new patients, you can take new clients there. And so the way that I've taught marketing is there's internal and external marketing. I don't know what the exact terms are that you guys use in your marketing books, but we call it internal and external. So what do you think internal marketing is? How would you define that when you just think about that? Someone take a stab at it.
I think promoting the brand in your company with your employees.
Promoting it to your employees, yeah. So that's one group. Who else are you promoting it inside your company to?
People who are already customers, I guess, of the company.
Already patients.
Yeah, already
so
patients.
Existing patients, is that what you were going to say too? So promoting it to your team and promoting it to your in-house, to your family member. I mean, I have 15,000 people that I can promote to, right? If I have 15,000 patients. That's internal marketing. External marketing is what then? Everything where? Outside your 4 walls. So that's external marketing. So I look at this as internal and external marketing. I don't know if you guys can find the vernaculum, but I'm telling you in a very practical standpoint what works well for me and the way that I've done this for years is this. So this is our office. This is a look at our adjusting area. So this is our healing zone. So you'd be sitting here doing exercises. And when someone's waiting to prepare their body for adjustment, we always have educational television going on. So there's constant slides, there's constant information, everything relevant to the actual time period. Like if it's winter, they're going to talk about things related to winter and things like that. There is, our mission is on the top, love, serve, and inspire. Here we were promoting the birthday of chiropractic, so we have birthday signs up here. We also did a patient dinner, so we do dinner. So last week I took patients out to dinner. I rented out Carrabba's. You guys, I like Carrabba's, right? It's a good place. So I rent out Carrabba's and I take patients out to dinner and I share the vision of the practice. Who thinks that important to share your vision, right? You know, so we share the vision. So this is all internal marketing. Then you'll notice the rooms have no doors. So one of my doctors or myself is going room to room, and then they're also interacting. So if I was adjusting, you guys would be in my wobble room, we call them. So they're doing different exercises. I can be interacting with you, even though I might not be with you at that moment. I'm still with you. Does that make sense? So it's this togetherness. Plus, when a patient asks a question, we can also cross-educate. Now, of course, if they have something private to ask me, there's always private rooms and all that stuff too. But it keeps a very open family environment and very bright colors, very vibrant, very healing, very much into lighting. We stimulate the 5 senses, a specific sense, lights. We play different music on different days. On Monday, we play Christian music. On Friday, we play Disco Friday. So I kind of like mix up the middle of the week. I don't really care what they play, but I like to start the day, you know, in a nice spiritual sense and then end like a party there. So that's what we do there. Pretty cool, huh? Okay. And then we do talks like this is a food labels talk. So we'll teach people how to read food labels. So we'll do educational workshops, or we'll do things like supply drives. So we do like a pack to school. So we donate school supplies to various organizations and people can bring them in, school supplies, and it allows them to refer somebody to the practice. So those are like internal marketing procedures. We advertise, so then that's external marketing procedures. So I grew up in the printing business. I grew up, my parents owned a print shop. So that my only business training I got really was my parents owning their own business and me watching that. And so they grew up in the printing business, so I'm into print advertising. We also do a lot of web-based advertising as well. So obviously our website, and it's loaded with information, calls to action on there. Anybody into web advertising or internet marketing? Right, and so then you have things like this where you can like a lead box, or then you have like lead magnets. You know what that is? So people can like download a report and then they give their information. It allows us to talk to them. Plus we give them information there. So those are aspects of marketing there as well. Any questions so far? What's coming to your mind? What's hitting you between the eyes? Again, get on the field. Don't just stay in the stadium. Yes.
So do you have a lot of people coming just like directly from doctors, or just for auto accidents or something walking?
Great. So her question was, do we have patients that come in from doctors? Do we have patients that come in walk-in? Is it just auto accidents? What is it? What's the DNA of the practice? The answer is yes, 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 yes. So what happens is they come from everywhere. I'll get to your question next. They come from everywhere. So about 75% of my practice is family. So it's family care, because I grew up as a child having an experience with chiropractic. I know how important that is, because here's the concept. If you can catch a problem when it's smaller, it's a lot easier to fix than when it's much greater. And so what we want to do is I really seek to take care of our patients, their children, so they can grow up in a lifestyle. Like my son has never taken a medication in his life. He's 7 years old, and he doesn't take any medications. My daughter either hasn't been on any medications either. So we know that this lifestyle is about promoting health and healing the body. So we work a lot with families. So they come in naturally that way. Referrals is about half of the practice. Attorneys refer people if there's the case there, if it's an auto accident. That's a small portion of it. And then you have your advertising, you have your internal marketing, your external, you have walk-in traffic. I mean, all over the place. And I think the key is to be everywhere. It's interesting, when I started my practice, I remember going to Staples. This is before you actually bought everything online. Now my wife loves Amazon. Come home and there's a box always at our house. It's like Christmas every day, okay? And so I went to Staples, I remember, and I met this young lady. I was in London. I gave her my card. And I just started talking to her. I'm like, I just opened up a new practice. This was in 2001. And I gave her my card. 3 years later, she came into my practice and said, I came in, she goes, I met you in Staples 3 years ago. I just kept your card. You were a nice guy, and I figured whenever I needed you, I'd give you a call. How would I have thought that would have occurred, right? 3 years later, but does it? You have that. It's like, it's like how Jesus threw seeds, right? And some seeds will land on fertile ground, some seeds won't. But the key is just laying out the seeds, right? And just see how that works there. You had a question?
So how do you successfully market yourself to other doctors outside the field of chiropractic?
It's good. How do you successfully market yourself? Well, I think first, the best marketing becomes their own patients telling them the results. So first of all is delivering the results to the patients, and then as the patients go to their doctor, they then hear about you. So then when I introduce myself, say, hey, we have some patients in common, they say, oh, well, you've helped me. You've helped this patient or that patient or this. So that's a way to do that. Plus, you also have to create opportunities to meet them. You have to be outside of your box. So one thing I'm going to encourage you guys is whatever you do for a living, don't stay in your box. Be out there. Put yourself out there. And what's very interesting, here I am a speaker now, and I do this, but I was a very big stutterer when I was growing up. And the reason why I was a stutterer, I was all about me. It was all about how I would look. Now, the message of chiropractic is so important for me that I get out of my own way. And the key in this is that many of us just have to get out of our own way and find a message that compels us. And I believe if you can find a message that compels you and you can get paid very well for it, that is like a perfect blend. It's like do what you love and get paid very well. That's my core value. It's an operating value I have in my life. So can I answer your question? Any other questions, comments? Yes, sir.
What was the first iteration that you came to? Like just a problem that you had to overcome?
In practice?
Yeah, I know you adding all of those supplementary practices within your realm was obviously one of the biggest mistakes you made. But what was the first one that got you thinking in advance?
Sure. It's interesting. So you said what were maybe the things the mistakes that I might have made that that could have led me, that occurred along the process, because will you make mistakes, right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing that's really changed my perspective in a lot of areas of my life, and so this is probably one of the most important things I can tell you today, is what if you mentioned, I think we talked about this, that life is not happening to you. So mistakes don't happen to you, but if life was always happening for you. So if life was always happening for me, and life was happening for me in my business, then every single thing that happens that could be perceived as a mistake is actually a gift. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I remember one of the things that stood to me was when I first started in my practice, I had a very big vision of what it is that I wanted to do. How did I want to accomplish this vision, right? And I knew the kind of practice that I wanted, and I didn't want this pain relief practice. I didn't want people that just came in because, Doc, can you crack my neck? And I didn't want to be like this relief care chiropractor that was just treating symptoms and that would help them get better for the moment. I wanted to create life impactful changes in them. And in doing that, that involves, number one, a very big discipline and a training, and it involves you to really step up your game in a lot of areas of your life. So I forced the issue of doing that. Well, I remember when I did a talk, a health talk, we did this to our groups of patients. We used to do a talk in a group like this. So I used to do this. I used to do a talk 2 to 3 times a week. At the beginning, I did it 9 times a week. And I had this one guy that was a big-time business owner in one of the big corporations. And I met him, I went to his business, so yes, I went to his business, met him. He came in as a patient, and I presented him this information. And I was very firm on my presentation. I was very convicted in what I wanted to do, but I was very green. Well, then when I went in the room with him, he actually unloaded on me. Didn't believe anything I was saying, was totally made me feel very, very small. And this was right at the beginning, and I think that God tests you sometimes. And so I think it was a bit of a test and say, look, how committed are you to really serving your people? And it could have been very easy to go, you know what, I'm not going to commit to my principles. I'm going to just go ahead and whatever the patient says, I'm going to go for like and not lead. And I could have gone that way, but I was tested early, and I said, that's not what I'm about. I care too much about this. So that was probably one of my big tests early on. And then challenges is always, I think a challenge always is human capital. Human capital is finding the right people on your team and building the right team. Like our team right now is amazing. Our team right now is incredible. I'll put my team against anybody's team. My team is incredible. I've invested over $100,000 in training my team over the past 2 years. So I am very committed to really getting them to be at their game. Is that helpful?
Yeah, very. Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, comments? Yes. Ma'am.
Okay. So, a lot of places start to add like the chirotherapy or the big freezer.
The cold therapy.
Yeah.
Cryotherapy, not chirotherapy. Yes, that's okay. I get it.
Have you added that, or do you see that as more competition for you?
I don't see it as competition. I feel like the level of our service is we have no competition in that regard there. That's just another healing modality. It's not one that I'm interested in, but it does exist. Yep.
Did you ever doubt yourself, after you graduated from chiropractic school, 6 figures in debt, $0 in your bank account? Did you ever doubt you would succeed?
Well, what do you think?
Yes. No.
Yes. What do you think, Lily? Yeah, of course. And so, moving forward, courage is not moving forward, not having any fear. Courage is moving forward despite fear. And that's why that's why I told you the first principle is to know your why. And so what you got to do is you have to have an anchor to anchor yourself to. And if you're unanchored, then it's very easy to let fear bother you. And what I want to do, and believe me, this is the talk that I wish I got when I was an undergrad. Does that make sense? I wish someone told me this when I was where you are. You guys have more capability, more successful than I am, because you're learning stuff earlier and you have tons of resources. I mean, Google didn't exist when I started my practice. Can you imagine life without Google? Life without YouTube? The resources did not exist. The ways of learning did not exist. So you have a lot of technology and a lot of resources to help you. The problem is this: you have too much information.
Yeah.
You have too much, okay? You're drowning in information, but you're starving for wisdom, right? That's really what happens there. So good. Billboards, we have a billboard, so I put my family is my brand. This is an old slide, I now have my daughter on there as well, but we have that. So, family chiropractor. Another one is contribution to your community. I believe that it is important to make contributions regularly to your community. So we're not just about take, it's about really giving. So the Hope Foundation is a charity that we connect to. I will encourage whatever business you're in to connect to a charity. We're very passionate about helping them. And then I do a lot of speaking. I'm actually a doctor for the Foundation for Wellness Professionals, so I speak here. I speak at organizations. I spoke at just an amazing business fraternity as well the other day. And so I encourage you to get involved and do those things. And if you like this information and you want it spoken somewhere else that you're involved with, a sorority, fraternity, a business club, please let me know. I'll tailor-make it for you guys. This is my little baby girl. Isn't that great? So that's Journey. Precious, huh? That keeps perspective, by the way, right? It's not all about the business. So business adjustment number 6, 5-star conversion strategy. So it's really important to have systems in place to actually convert your clients into becoming, loyal customers, right, into raving fans. So we have conversion strategies. You want to come up with your own 5-star conversion strategies. This is my viewpoint. I really view it as a patient is like a seed, and I'm either creating a soil that is allowing them to grow and flourish in their health and in their life, or I'm creating a soil that's not going to allow that. But I believe in the power of the person's ability to heal. I just need to create an environment to allow that. Does that make sense? It's a perspective. The phone, we spend a lot of time and energy on the phone, so my staff is actually certified in answering the phone, meaning they can't answer the phone unless they're certified on how to properly answer the phone. Who thinks a lot of business is lost over the phone? Tons. How many times have you been on the phone, right? First thing we did is got rid of the phone tree. The 14 things, press 1, press 4, press 25, to get to where you want to be. We eliminated that, so that's a big thing. We put the red carpet out. So when I did enough training with my staff, I said we need to bring the red carpet out there because it's all about creating a red carpet experience for our practice members. I hired Ritz-Carlton to do some training for our team. So we were trained by Ritz-Carlton as well, which is a very good brand. Business adjustment number 7 is recognize and appreciate your clients' values and needs. Whose values and needs?
Clients.
Your clients, right? So you have different values and needs, and they do too. So you have to find ways to find out what are their values, what are their needs. You have to have specific strategies in there, or I would encourage you to have specific strategies in there so you can help them get the best what it is they want. We know, for example, in our industry, there are 4 major values that people have. One value is cosmetic. They care how their posture looks. They walk like this, or they have some sense of their posture, some cosmetic issue. There might be a value of comfort, being in pain, right? And not wanting to be in pain anymore. Their pain might be affecting their mood, their motivation, their focus. Another value is function. Being able to do things, being able to live, work, play, being able to have fun. I'm a function guy. I want to be able to work hard and play hard, right? So you have that. And then the last one is longevity. Being healthy both in the short term, but also being healthy in the long term. Maybe you see your parents' health decline, or your grandparents, you say you don't want that. So longevity is another one. Would it be important to know each of their values for the patients in one of those 4 categories, right? And if he values longevity, and I'm talking about getting rid of his pain, I could be talking French and he's talking English. Do you see what I mean? And so we got to know, I got to speak your language to what's important to you when I'm communicating to you. So that's that. Then there's 6 human needs. I would definitely encourage you to look up this guy, Tony Robbins. Who's heard of Tony Robbins? Very cool, okay. So I've done a lot of work with Tony Robbins. I've been studying his stuff since 1999. So this started my practice. So that was the thing there. Talks about 6 human needs. You've heard of these? The 6 human needs? Yeah, you familiar with them? So the first need is the need for certainty. That is to have certainty in life, to know that you have the ability to feel secure and knowing what you're going to be able to do. By the way, when you have no money in your bank account, what's your level of certainty? Very low, right? So you're talking about certainty there, So that could be certainty, but certainty to know the classroom is safe. I mean, you feel very certain right now. You're in class, you're safe, you're secure, everything is good, right? But that is a basic need that people have. The interesting thing is that people have a need for uncertainty as well. So if everything was predictable, life would be what? Boring. So we need variety. So my wife was a travel nurse, so she traveled all over the country. And she would go to a different hospital for 13 weeks, a different floor, and within those 13 weeks, different floors within that, which were different parts, like cancer, heart disease, post-surgery, all these things she would do. Now imagine if you really value certainty and you were a travel nurse, how would you feel? Totally off your thing, right? Her value is uncertainty. She likes the variety. What do you like? Where's yours? Significance is the need to make an impact in somebody's life. It's the need to feel important, needed, wanted, worthy of love. It's the need to be able to be significant for others or for yourself. A lot of doctors and attorneys and people, business owners really like significance. Love and connection is the ability to connect with people, to love, to be connected, to feel that with other people. That's one of my primary human needs. That's one of my top two is love and connection. That's what I love about chiropractic. I have all these meaningful connections with patients all day long because I get to do that. And because they're chiropractic, you see the doctor regularly, it really creates a relationship, which is fun. So you want to think about that. How often do you want connection points with your customers, right? Then you have growth, and I already told you that's one of my top needs is the need to constantly be growing, to be learning. And then contribution, which is giving above yourself as well. Cool, right? According to Tony Robbins, he says that we do everything at some level to meet one or multiple of these needs. So everything you do, from the clothes that you wore to the car that you bought, so when you think about your marketing hat, to the person that you marry, to do all the things that you do them to meet one or multiple of these needs. The problem is most of us are unconscious as to what our needs are. Yes? And so my question to you is, what do you think are your two top emotional needs in your life? What do you think they are? Take a look at that list and maybe just write down on a piece of paper or jot it down somewhere. What do you think are your two top needs right now? You guys got them? All right. Well, hey, how often do you talk to someone next to you here, huh? Do you guys do a lot of that here? Yeah? Good. Pick a partner and share one of your needs. Share your needs and tell them why. And then what I'm going to do is going to raise my hand up in about 2 minutes, and we're going to come back and we'll go from there, okay? So introduce yourself to somebody and share these two needs. So who kind of got a little bit of awareness as they looked at this, at least a more clear definition of, wow, this kind of like hit me between the eyes. What was something that kind of hit you between the eyes as you were looking at this? Who will be bold enough to share?
I guess right along the lines of what you were saying with love and connection, like having that personal interaction, building those long-term relationships, that's definitely one of the values of myself.
That's awesome. Yep. And what kind of work do you see yourself doing?
Sales.
Sales? And so do you know particularly what you want to sell, what industry?
Not entirely yet.
Okay.
But real estate, life insurance, those two are definitely high up on the list.
That's great. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is love and connection, or connection, however deep you want to go, in connecting with your customer, right? In sales.
Very important. Yeah.
Very high, right? So that'll be a very cool thing. And if your needs are matching that, then you'll actually be potentially be a very successful salesperson, right? Because if your value was certainty over love and connection, and certainty still might be up there. And can your needs change as your life changes, right? Like when I was starting my practice, at this stage in the game, many of us are living in a world of who knows exactly what they're going to do for a living. Raise your hand up high. So would you agree that if you can't raise your hand, that there's some level of uncertainty in your life, right? Who's close to graduating? So little concerning that you'd have that you're not very certain right there. Does that make sense? So certainty, if I was in your shoes, that might be pretty high on my list right now because I feel maybe a lack of it. Does that make sense? The beautiful thing is right now, in the point of my career where I don't have to work. Remember I talked about have to? I get to go to work. I want to go to work. Like I could retire now if I'd like to, but life would be very boring for me and I would lose my sense of growth and my sense of connection and all that, then I would be miserable. So I'd be retired and unhappy. Are there people that get retired and unhappy? Yeah, I don't want to be one of them. Okay? And so I constantly want to be working and doing things, but when I do what I work, I love. Connection is a very cool thing to do. Who've also put connection as a high point for them? High value. I mean, you know, I have a bias towards it. I really like it, and that's just kind of the way it is. My dad told me, he goes, if you love working with people, be a chiropractor. If you don't, be a radiologist. You know, because then you're looking at films, you're not looking at people. You know, so there's just the different things there. So it's great that you saw connection for your life and for sales. It allowed you to be very successful. What else? What else hit you guys between the eyes? What's another value? Yes.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
I feel like if it doesn't scare you, maybe it's not that important. And I like the idea of challenges and not knowing. So.
Very cool. So she says if it doesn't scare you, it's not that important, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And so that's what's true for her, right? You see that? Now for somebody else, what scares you could also be something scary. But for her, she can have core value of uncertainty. But if you live in the world, if you value uncertainty, she actually gets some emotional juice on that. Does that make sense? You know? But so it could be the same thing. Two people, you can have two singers preparing to do a concert. And just because they've been doing concerts forever doesn't mean they don't get nervous. I've spoken thousands of times. Doesn't mean I still don't get a sense of, hey, I got to get myself in a state of readiness because I want to be ready for you, right? So you can have two performers. One person could be getting their palms sweaty, their heart rate racing, and they could be going, oh my God, I'm going to pass out, right? Another person could get their palms sweaty, their heart racing, going, oh my God, I'm going to nail it. Same stimulus, different interpretation, based upon this. Do you see that? Because of your need for uncertainty, you like that variety. See that? You're like my wife. You know, you're just that breed, you know? What else? What else did you talk? One more distinction. One more distinction. Somebody share one. We'll be able to clarify it a little bit.
Growth, like you're in college.
Yeah, growing, right? Yeah. And just because you're in college doesn't mean you're growing though, right? Yeah. But growth, definitely something cool, right? And my encouragement to you is to never stop that. To have the concept of being a perpetual student in the game of life. I have 3 bachelor's degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, a bachelor's degree in human biology, the doctorate in chiropractic, so I look at the mind and the body. But I'm in a constant state of growing. I use my car as my library. Who has any sort of a commute, like a 15-minute drive or something? Who listens to like books on tape or audios or things like that? Anybody do that? I really want to encourage that because you guys can have that. Or if you go to the gym, when I go to the gym, I'm either you know connecting with somebody or I'm listening to an audio book, right? So I'm constantly plugging in to people who are doing things that I want to be able to model that behavior off of. Sounds good? There's some growth stuff. So if you can do anything in this world and you knew that you could not fail, failure did not exist. Failure was not an option, what would you do? If you knew you can do anything, what would you do? Second question to that is, how would doing that meet your emotional needs? So think about it. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you want to do? Tell me. What's something you want to do?
Some kind of icon that you would walk advertisements, sponsorships.
Do what, I'm sorry?
You're doing like some kind of icon, it's like a role model or something, or people look up to you and like live off of like investments and sponsorships, advertisements.
So having what I'm hearing you say is, let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So being a role model, but also being able to have residual income.
Yeah.
So, and why is residual income important to you?
Because that creates the certainty.
That creates certainty for you, so you get certainty. What else does it do for you?
Commitments too, because people look up to you.
Yeah, you're making a difference in people's lives. You're a role model. You're helping them inspire to be a certain level. What else does it mean for you?
Connections too, because you also want to make like connections with people, like let's say your fans or something like that.
Very cool. You see how that works? See, if the things that you love to do, who loves working out? Going to the gym. All right. Why do you like going to the gym?
Seeing.
Talk to me in that language.
Growth. Seeing visual change, feeling better about yourself, and I guess it falls into certainty too, because you know if you put the effort in the gym, it's going to come back to you.
Produce the
It's
results.
a certain thing, if you lift the weight, you're going to have change.
And how does uncertainty show up in the gym?
Uncertainty.
But if you stack on more weight than you normally do. hey, am I going to really pull this one off? You know what I mean? There's a little bit of that, a little bit of variety there too, right? You have that. Growth, all that, connection. Do you work out by yourself? You work out with buddies?
With groups, so I guess connection, yeah.
You got
So it's like
connection,
a bonding,
too.
it's like social things sometimes.
So is working out something that you like to do, or do you want to do it, or do you have to do it?
A little bit of both.
Thank you for the honesty, you know? But a lot of people, a lot of things that you really like to do, you want to do them, right? Versus have to do them, right? And because it meets your needs. You see that? Anything you're doing is going to be meeting your needs. But if you could do anything in this world and you knew you couldn't fail, declare it. Tell me what's something that you would like to do if you knew you couldn't fail. What would you like to do if you knew you couldn't fail?
Trading stocks.
I'm sorry?
Trading stocks.
Trading stocks.
Stock market, playing the stock market. If
Cool.
you knew you couldn't fail, like, there's so much uncertainty involved, obviously there's so much uncertainty involved in it,
Yeah.
you know.
Trading stocks. There you go. And look and see how it meets those needs, right? What else? What would you want to do?
Venture capitalism.
Venture capitalism. Why not, right? How does it meet those needs? You see that?
Yeah.
You see how it works there? And why not do that? So if you're going to do something, might as well do it, right? Do it all the way. And so next thing is business strategy number 8 is 5-star cutoff, 5-star delivery strategies. So first you have to have the why to know what it is that you want to do and why you want to do it, right? You want to have your concept right around work, wanting to do it and doing things you're passionate about. You want to have systems in place that will attract new patients or new customers. So you have internal, you have external. Then you want to have strategies to convert them into raving fans, right? That's another good book, Raving Fans. Then you want to go ahead and have strategies to convert them, and then you want to be able to deliver the goods. This isn't about getting customers, it's about being able to serve customers, right? And so then you want to have strategies that can do that. So we do the adjustments, that's the foundation of what it is that we do, so we do many different adjustment styles and techniques within the practice. Who's been adjusted before? You know, it's awesome, good for you guys and girls. It's interesting, the lady who I adjusted earlier today had chronic headaches. Chronic headaches, living on Excedrin, and she takes Tylenol. She takes Tylenol every other day. Every other day. And I told her, I said, how long have you been doing that for? She goes, years. I said, so, number one, do you think that your headaches are caused by a deficiency of Tylenol? Like, are you deficient of vitamin Tylenol? No, right? You know? So then we looked at the pyramid thing, and I said, the iceberg, I said, are we correcting the cause are we covering the symptom or correcting the cause? She goes, I'm treating the symptom. I said, okay. I said, and do you know that there's damage from over-the-counter pain medicine? You know that the leading cause of death to our kidneys and our liver is over-the-counter pain medication. The leading cause of death to the organ. And I think that those organs are important, by the way, so you know. Liver has the word live in it, and it's kind of like an important organ, you know? And so we started working with her, but she was really afraid of the adjustment. I'm like, my fear is you not correcting your problem versus you actually correcting the problem. The adjustment is easy. Then I did the correction. She's like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, we just should have been doing that 10 years ago, but you know, we're here now. So the adjustments are very comfortable, use different techniques and different protocols as well, which is very cool. Then in our system, it's called synergy because we do combine things. So we don't do chirotherapy with us, but we do what's called corrective care. There's different types of chiropractic. We do corrective care. We combine physical therapy, chiropractic adjustments, a home care system, so things to do at home so you can have personal responsibility around their health. We combine that with massage therapy, and then we do a progress evaluation, so we have a checks and balance system. And in my practice, we have 3 chiropractors on staff with over 40 years of experience to be able to serve patients. We also do advanced strategies, something called spinal decompression therapy and things like that. This is the normal curve in the neck. So in order to know abnormal, you have to know normal. It's another good business strategy we'll put in the book. And so what happens is the neck's supposed to have a normal curve. That angle should be 43 degrees. So we measure that with our system, and things like car accidents can actually cause a lot of problems. So if you do have a car accident, you definitely want to get checked, okay? And in the state of Florida, there's a 2-week rule saying you have 14 days to see a doctor that actually will treat this, and we specialize in this. So something I just want to let you know that it exists, so if you have a trauma, make sure you get checked. If you've had a trauma, you didn't get checked, make sure you still get checked, right? But so this young lady came in, look at her neck curve. How's the curve? Remember that 43-degree curve? How's the curve? There's no curve. This is a whiplash. She lost all of her curve. She was having numbness and tingling in her arms. They did an MRI. She was having multiple disc problems. The doctor, she went to her medical doctor. They gave her pain medicine. Pain continued. She got an MRI. The doctor said, you need to see a neurosurgeon. And then she had these disc protrusions. She had multiple disc problems. So then she was confronted with this. And then they wanted to put a plate in her neck. They wanted to do this. Okay? By the way, you put a plate in the neck, does that make the neck stronger or weaker? Weaker, right? Might solve the problem, but it makes it weaker. By the way, the neck is supposed to have a curve. What's the shape of the plate? Interesting, huh? So it perpetually keeps you in an unstable position. So anyways, they were scheduled to do this. One of her neighbors, so people asking how they hear about us, I said multiple places. Her neighbor was a patient and said, hey, check out this stuff. Come over to Dr. Janowitz's office. Let's see. We started working with her. We did something called decompression therapy. This is so cool. This saved my career. So decompression therapy, one of my specialties is disc care. So disc bulges, herniations, and things like this. We did a series of decompression with her. We actually were able to prevent her from having neck surgery. Who thinks that's pretty cool, right? Awesome stuff. So we were able to work with her. We do 4 phases of care. We do relief, corrective, strengthening, and wellness. So our process is designed not only just help you get out of pain, but if I help you get out of pain, but I don't correct your problem, what's it going to do? It's going to keep coming back. That's why many of you have repeated problems over and over and over, because you didn't fully correct your problem. Then we strengthen, then we have a position of wellness. So most of my practice, 80% of my patient base is wellness, meaning they come in on some level of frequency just to maintain themselves, because life has stresses, don't we? And so you have to reverse the stresses of the body. This was our pre and post x-ray. Pretty cool, huh? It's 47% improvement and not having to have neck surgery. So what's that worth to that person, right? She's in her mid-30s, has elementary school kids. So very cool stuff. You can see this over here, the picture on the left, you can see the kink. Wherever the stress point is going to be the stress point of the nervous system. This nerves happen to actually affect the stomach. So we started working with him. He came to me for back and neck pain and numbness and tingling. But when we would adjust him, his sinuses would open up, his headaches went away, but his reflux went away, which blew his mind. He came into me for headaches and neck issues, stays with me because I treat his reflux. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so I want to give you a couple things here. As I do, I'm going to ask questions to answer questions as well, but I do want to give you 2 opportunities. Job shadowing. Many times when I do this information, people ask, hey, can I come see what this office looks like, how we do this sort of thing? You don't have to be necessarily interested in chiropractic, but interested in serving people, you know, if that appeals to you. I allow 4 students to shadow the practice at different times. We schedule that. We have a couple rules for that. Number 1, dress professionally. You don't have to wear a suit, but pants and a button-down shirt, or ladies a blouse or some sort. No sneakers, please. Send me a follow-up email on what impacted you, so what hit you between the eyes, and also state why you want to shadow, because I want to be able to customize and help you get what you want to get out of that time. So I want to serve you. I want to help you. And so I do that for 4 people, and the only way it's fair is I just take the first 4 emails, okay? So if you're interested in that, you email social@synergyovedo.com. That email's my assistant, Brittany. Brittany will organize that. Also leave your phone number on that too, but who thinks they might be interested in something like that to kind of see that? I would recommend that you do that, and I will tell you, typically, by the time I'm at the next class, it's already full. So if you're interested, you know, do it from your phone, okay? So that'll be the thing there. Just because I can only allow 4, I'm going to speak again, I'm going to have another 4. So I'll have 8 today. I donate chiropractic care too, so one of my missions is to serve. I was a college student, I understand how it is, but some of you might be listening to this and going, wow, there's some health issues that I have, and I believe that knowledge is only power when you apply it. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it's just potential power. And so I'm actually donating $2,500 of services to this class. I'm going to give 7 students a free evaluation. It's $350 of testing. So if you want to know what's going on with yourself, this is a gift for you, okay? Take advantage of it. You can even use it for your friends, okay? I'll even allow that. This is the rules, though. The rules on this isn't about you seeing how we do what we do. The seeing how we do what we do, that's the shadow. This is about you having a health problem that you want to fix. So because I'm donating this, I only want to work with people who want to fix their problems. Does that make sense? Then I also just ask that you please make that scheduled appointment. I know that your schedules are busy. When you make that appointment, please go ahead and make sure that it works for you, because I'm literally losing $350 by serving you. But I want to help you. Does that make sense? And request the appointment's a different email address. This goes to my front desk. And also leave your phone number, because they actually do more calls. So if you're interested in that, just say, hey, I want to get this. I have this issue. I want to be seen. So that's 7 of you. Again, this will be done within 20 minutes. It has every semester I teach this class. So if you're interested in it, you think you want to do it, get it done. Who's married? So young group. It's us, man. It's just you and me.
We're hanging in there.
All right, that's the
We're
way.
hanging in there.
I was gonna say, if you have a significant other that's, usually a spouse, but if it's somebody very close and you wanted to see, people honestly, I'll be open to that as well. That make sense? Okay, so there's that. So this is my information. You can take a picture of it if you want. There's my website. I do have cards up here as well. So there's some information here if you want to stay in touch. But just consider us a resource for you. I want to be able to help you in any way, either speaking to an organization, either helping you see an organization or helping you. Sounds good? Awesome. So we got like maybe 2 minutes. Any other questions or comments? I know that everybody's kind of getting ready to go, but I want to help you. Please.
I actually took advantage of one of these free appointments, and he really knows what he's going on, so I definitely recommend it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had an opportunity to speak at her fraternity, a business fraternity, with a very dedicated group of people, so thank you. Other questions or comments? Okay. Yep.
That's more of like an entrepreneurial type of question.
Yeah.
What method did you use to secure like funding for opening the business? Was it like a bank loan or like?
Small business loan. So I did a business application, the whole 9 yards. Yep. All right, so lightning round, here it is. So I just want you to tell me in 10 seconds what hit you between the eyes. What is something you're going to take away from what I said today? What's a concept I got that you took home and said, wow, I'm going to really remember that? What's something that hit you between the eyes?
Don't have to work, you want to work.
There you go. Don't have to work, want to work.
The 6 human needs.
6 human needs. Look it up on YouTube. You can find some good stuff. What else? What hit you between the eyes? What's a concept? What'd you take away? Who took away something from today? Yes, I hope so. I really hope so. So what's something that hit you between the eyes? You saying it will help you affirm it.
Your kid's not having to take medicine for years and ever.
Yes. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of 17 years of work, I missed 1/2 of a day due to this. I also want to tell you one last thing too. If this at all sounds intriguing, this type of a healing art, doing what you love and all this stuff, Lily back here, Lily, can you raise your hand? Lily is actually a recruiter, someone I've known for many, many years. She is dedicated to the chiropractic profession. I am a partner with Life University, I believe in giving back. It's a university in Atlanta, and they do amazing things up there. This is where I encourage people to attend chiropractic school. So if you like this gig, and this resonates with you at some level, you really owe it yourself to introduce yourself to Lily as well. And because of coming through me, there's actually, they do a leadership weekend. It's valued at somewhere like $3,000. And if they're sponsored by me, I sponsor them, then you can actually go to that. So if you're looking at, hey, I'm getting close to graduate, I like working with the body, I like working with people, this sounds cool, I'd like to make a career that could earn a pretty good living too if you work at it, right? Then you want to talk to Lily as well. All right, so you'll hang around here as well? Okay, I appreciate that. Good. What else hit you between the eyes? What's something you got?
Creating culture.
Creating a culture. Family atmosphere, professional experience. It's great. What else? What hit you between the eyes? You can go ahead, yeah.
Being happy on Mondays, like going into professional work, and then being happy going into Executive Central.
Yep, the rule of 5 7s, right? Yeah.
Human capital.
Human capital. So important, people, right? What else? What else hit you between the eyes? Anything else? How about in the back? How about you guys? What hit you between the eyes? Growth. I can see it, man. All right, so listen, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for spending time with me. I'll hang out up here. Take care.